All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. The Israel-Hamas war has in fact dragged on for well over a month now. And Israel has continued to operate with full force against Hamas as it continues with its relentless bombing of the Gaza Strip. The besieged Palestinian enclave has now been divided into two parts by the Israeli army, which is the north and the south. Now, the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has made it clear that for the Israelis, there will be no ceasefire until all hostages are released. This, as Hamas has said, that Israeli bombing needs to stop for any such breakthrough for the release of hostages. Now, all this, of course, indicates that there is no possibility of a ceasefire at this moment in time. So let's also take a look at the very latest developments. Now, the Israeli strikes have continued to bombard the Gaza Strip. The visuals on your screens are of the Gaza city, which has witnessed relentless Israeli bombings overnight. And this is the scale of the bombings that the Gaza Strip has been subjected to. Now, the Israeli army continues to release more footage of its ground operations in the Gaza Strip. These are Israeli soldiers inside the Gazan territory. The Israeli army claims that it has hit at least 450 targets in the last 24 hours. Now, all of these are Israeli claims where the Israeli Defense Forces have said that they have eliminated another Hamas commander who had aided in the dispatch of the assault that took place on the 7th of October on Israeli territory. And Hamas has also been putting out videos. The group has released a video. It says that it shows the militants allegedly firing mortars in Gaza as the war continues to rage on. Remember, it's been exactly a month since the attack by Hamas on Israel, and Israel is putting out videos one after another of what actually happened on the day of the attack. Now, this footage that has now been released is reportedly from the city of Sderot that shows the Hamas fighters approaching a car which had a mother and two children in it. The Hamas fighters then reportedly shot the mother who were lying on the floor in the car. When the Israeli police found the young girls, they reportedly were really very terrified, that they thought that the Israeli police was against the Hamas fighters who had in fact returned. Meanwhile, there are worldwide protests that continue to intensify against what is unfolding at this moment in the Gaza Strip. A Jewish man reportedly was killed in an assault in Los Angeles. The deceased has been identified as the 69-year-old Paul Kessler, who was said to have been a pro-Israeli protester. Now, remember, it is the people of Gaza who continue to suffer under this intense Israeli bombardment. Hospitals in Gaza are flooded with the injured. Many of the hospitals are on the verge of breakdown. The hospitals have reported more than 100 fatalities in a single day. Now, the United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres has said that Gaza is now becoming a graveyard for children.
Gaza is becoming a graveyard for children. Hundreds of girls and boys are reportedly being killed or injured every day. More journalists have reportedly been killed over a 4-week period than in any conflict in at least 3 decades. More United Nations aid workers have been killed than in any comparable period in the history of our organization.
But also there are images that have now emerged of yet another strike on the Al-Shifa hospital in which at least one individual has been killed. The Gaza's health ministry has said that the Al-Shifa hospital, which is the biggest hospital in the Gaza Strip, hosts at least 170 injured. And thousands of Palestinians have been displaced from their homes because their homes have already been bombed by Israel. But the Israeli military claims that it is unaware of another strike on the hospital. It has accused Hamas of using hospital for its military activities. But Hamas has repeatedly said that it does not use any hospitals for any of its military activities. Now, the Israeli army has also released some videos showing civilian buildings being used by Hamas. These are videos put out by the Israelis. In a video, the Israeli army claims that it found a building where a children's play area was used as a Hamas rocket launching site. This is what the Israelis are claiming. Now, another video that has been put out by the Israelis, it claims that a mosque had been turned into a rocket launching compound by Hamas and therefore it was bombed by the Israelis. Another video that was released by the Israeli Prime Minister's spokesperson, it shows the Hamas and the Islamic Jihad militants firing at Israel dressed as civilians. Now, the Israeli Defense Force accuses that these were fighters who were killed by Israeli strikes. Now, Hamas has published information about them as actually innocent civilians. And this is the information war that is ongoing at this moment of claims and counterclaims by the Israelis and the Hamas fighters at this moment. So it's exactly a month since this bout of fighting broke out on the 7th of October. Today is the 7th of November, and there appears to be no end to the violence that is unfolding at this moment. Now, these are the Israelis at Jerusalem's Western Wall, who lit up candles to mark 30 days since the attack took place by Hamas. The relatives of those who were killed in the attack mourn the death of their loved ones.
שמיים, משם יקבצך אדוני אלוהיך ומשם...
And also the faces of the hostages who are presently in Hamas's custody were projected onto the walls of Jerusalem's old city. And these are also the scenes from Tel Aviv, where about 100 different film actors from the National Theatre in the state of Israel, they sat on empty beds to mark the absence of those who are presently in the custody of Hamas. And the situation remains pretty tense on other fronts. Israel's military has again struck targets belonging to Hezbollah in Lebanon. Now, the Israeli army claims that this is in response to a barrage of rockets that reportedly fired at the northern Israeli cities. Now, Hamas has said that it has fired at least about 16 rockets from southern Lebanon towards northern Israel. They've said that they've targeted areas south of the Israeli coastal city of Haifa. And elsewhere, Yemen's Houthis have said that they've launched a new batch of drones on Israel on Monday. But remember, Yemen is pretty far away from Israel. And they've said that the targets of these drones were varied and sensitive, and they'd led to halting the movement in the targeted bases and airports for several hours.